I'm Jennifer Finder from BAE Systems, and we're on the corporate side of things. And just like with nonprofits, we're trying to do less with more, or more with less. The other way around. I'd love to do less with more, but more with less. And particularly, that's how bad it's been. So particularly for us being a defense contractor, I mean, we were impacted by the government shutdown. We were impacted by sequestration. And there's a lot of pressure, of course, to continue to build our ROI and focus on our impacts, which is why we as corporations are then looking to the nonprofits that we're investing in and saying, this needs to be impactful because our boards are looking at us. And one of the things that I've taken to with having less money, I have this incredible employee base, and I know Emily said the same thing. That is a tremendous resource for us. That employee engagement is so critical to our success and our bottom line. And so I kind of put it out there to the nonprofits in the room. You know, as corporations, we want to engage. We want to maintain those partnerships. We want to see everybody through this difficult period, and engaging those employees and sort of looking to you to work with us to be creative. Whether it's things like the back office and helping in accounting, or a couple weeks ago we partnered with the VA Medical Center. They were doing an open house and said, you know what, we could really just use some water and some food. And I had a team of employees who came to me and said, we want to volunteer. And they gave $500 worth of food. The VA Medical Center was like, oh my God, we have food for now 5 events, thank you. But it was great all around for everybody. So I think my question back to the panel, as we go through this paradigm shift, is what can companies do to help nonprofits, I guess, through this? Because we know we're basically coming and saying, okay, I have 50 volunteers for 2 hours on this day, and it has to be, with 2 hamburgers on a Tuesday, and we're giving very specific parameters, and then saying, please help us come up with something because we're desperate. So what can we do?
One thing that leaps to mind for me, and this is definitely from dealing with exhausted nonprofits, is multi-year commitments. That would be one area that, and I know lots of companies do it, but some don't, and it's exhausting. And not that you don't have to report, not that you don't have to justify what you're doing, and that you can just count on either the money or the volunteers or the skills just coming in without having to report back. But for a not-for-profit to know that over a few years this relationship is going to develop and that there's time to really get it done, knowing how exhausted executive directors are, and board members too sometimes, that's just one quick, easy one.
That's sort of what I was thinking too. I mean, one of the things we've chosen to do is go deep with fewer. So maybe not be the best message for all nonprofits, but the ones that we do go deep with, we're saying, here's part of the commitment you need to make to us. So we need to think together and creatively about ways to engage our employees. And so it's becoming part of the requirement to invest with us, for us to invest with you. And we're going, maybe we'll try it over 1 year to test it out, but after that, we'll go in for several years with the expectation that this will continue to grow and expand and kind of morph over time as the needs of the nonprofits and the needs of our workforce. But we're choosing to do it once or twice versus trying to recreate it for every Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and then the nonprofits kind of learn, if you're a little longer period of time, they learn what to ask for, and they figure out, oh wow, this is available. I can't believe that. Let's do that. But it may not happen for the first time.
The other thing, and it could potentially allow us, and we're like most companies still on this journey, is what are the in the building activities that we can do to support it. So you bring up a food drive. I mean, that's a great thing. Put a box out, but it's branded for your partner, branded for their needs, and you can start to thread all of those requirements and all of the things that organization needs. You can promote it during the workplace giving campaign, and you start to have some consistency in terms of, here's something that we believe in a corporation. If you don't, as an individual, that's fine, but here's where we're putting our money, and here's some opportunities as you as an employee can engage. We think that you come to work for a company like us, you're probably going to share in some of the core commitments we have around supporting the military, around getting kids excited for science and technology. We think that those are intrinsic things that are probably in place in most of our employees, and so those are the kind of organizations that we're supporting, not only with our money, but also with the rest of the resources.
Can I just add to that as well? I think Jen raised a very good point, and that is that companies want to use employee population to leverage their corporate resources. But I think there's the other side of the equation is that there's an expectation on the part of employees that they want to be engaged in their community, and it's the corporation's responsibility, their employer's responsibility to make that happen. And so you're trying to balance these two things. And I think it just echoes what Tom and Emily has said, but look on the continuum of volunteer opportunities. Hands-on may not be the best opportunity with the most impact. So you've got to strategically say, where is it we want to make a difference? And it may be looking at bringing stuff in-house, it may be in skills-based, but it's not necessarily rounding up a group of employees on a Saturday afternoon to go paint a wall or a shelter.